we're still in a phase right now, and I think it's important for everybody to know that we're trying to collect as much information that we gathered from the NCAA run. We've, like everybody else, you talk about the what it provides back to a campus, to a community, that success. And we know the viewership was over 18 million views, the highest since 2018, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. And then you start thinking about earned media value. Right now, all the numbers we're getting back, we're working with the conference office, with numerous different agencies to collect all this of impressions, and the world of the younger generation that understands all the impressions from X to Facebook to Instagram, and then you start thinking media and everything else. Right now, we're looking at a value of over $6 billion back to this campus when you talk about not just athletics, but the campus. And then you start thinking about the applications on campus, seeing a growth in that number just in that week during the Final Four. I want to be able to collect all this, and it's not the purpose of it is not to come out and say, to use it as a negative. It's really to show the impact of what we can do to help grow this campus, this university. And so we're going to be having that out shortly. So these are just some teasers, I guess I would say. I want to be able to get all the numbers that we're collecting them all, and I anticipate here over the next week we should have it all, and then we'll make sure that everybody here has a copy of that so we can roll it out the right way and present it the way we need to. So, but with that, I'll open it up. I'll be happy to answer any questions. I know you guys have some other ones. All those coaches you met, they're all gone. That's why we're here. No, I'm just kidding. Kind of smooth. Who's up? Yes, sir. Go for it.
Eddie, with everything changing in NCAA sports with new legislations and things of that nature, how hard is it to try to be the first one on something new, or just wait and see what happens?
I think last night everybody read, there's been, they've turned in stuff to the judge. Judge now has opened the opportunity for them to now respond back to that. For everyone, I think I could speak in some respect for most of my peers, we're just hoping to have some direction. And we've been planning on something that we were told was going to be the guidelines with the rosters, and now we're being told something possibly different. It's not that we're against it or anything else. We just would like to know this, because it does affect financial. There's financial circumstances associated with it. There's Title IX. There's other things. So there's a lot of things changing and still today. And we understood it's going to happen that way. But for us, we want to put our best foot forward. And so everything we're looking at is how we can benefit this university, our teams, our coaches. It might take more investment. It might take just readdressing the way we do things. But we're excited for what is coming. We just would love to see it formalized sooner rather than later.
I'm like everybody else. I know what I read on this, so forgive me. The figure that everybody seems to use, Eddie, is $20.5 million that's available for universities to disperse to their student athletes directly.
Yep.
Do you anticipate, as we stand here today, that will begin in the fall?
Yes.
And where is U of H on their level of commitment with regards to those payments?
That's a great question, I think. And we've kind of spoke about this throughout the year. So yes, we will be fully supporting our student athletes at the full amount, at the 20.5. There's a little more of the nuances that you have to think about. It's a portion of that has to be towards new scholarships, and so we're looking at how much that is. But no, we're all in. We're going to do this the right way. There's been a commitment by our president, chancellor, by our board to make sure that we're capable. I had to present a plan to them that allowed us to be able to execute that and how we would do it. So it wasn't just getting them to say yes, it was really presenting to them, showing them how, and then them understanding the commitment. You see what if you invest in the right areas, and basketball is a great example, great things can happen. And so really it's putting all our teams in a position they can be successful, and for us to make the commitment to fully fund our teams at the 20.5 will give us a chance to not just be competitive, but compete for championships nationally.
And just a quick follow-up,
Yeah.
you do, as we sit here today, you do anticipate that will begin this fall for everybody?
It will begin July 1st.
Okay.
If everything goes as I anticipate.
Yeah.
July 1st we'll be ready. We have we have plans, and we will at that point, roll out a little bit more about what we're going to do for each individual sport. But we're still holding on that until we understand exactly what the runway will be.
Eddie, I'm not sure if you were here in the back when Carl spoke, but he mentioned some of the concern in terms of Olympic sports and what the future could hold. What could you envision, or what concerns are there when you take football and basketball out of the equation and what's left for the others?
Well, first of all, you have one of the best individuals to speak about that within Carl Lewis. I mean, his history, his knowledge of the Olympics, the Olympic model, having been a participant, a successful participant, but really been in every stage of it. There has to be something different for the Olympic sports model. And I've been saying this for years, even before this. I think the Olympic Committee, the U.S. Olympics have to probably have more of involvement in this and how they can help keeping these pipelines, because it's important. We don't have the water polos of the world and stuff like that, but in some schools, that is the direct pipeline for the Olympic teams. And so you think about the tracks of the world and everything else. It's imperative that we find ways to keep that to be successful, because it's important for the bigger picture. So I don't have the answers. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I do, but I know that there's a lot of different scenarios that have been proposed, and there's going to have to be some government probably influence and somehow with the federal funding for that. But it's a hard balance right now for us, because we want to have success, that programs continue to have success, and we know this is going to change things, but we have to be able to make sure that we give them a chance to continue to have the success they've had in the past.
Carl also talked about how he thinks men's basketball and football should be separated and the other sports. I mean, would you be in favor of such thing? How do you see that sort of playing out as contraction or other things come up?
As the director of athletics, you want to have everything to be the same, or at least to be able to manage it from an overall. But I'm not naive to understand that football's already taken a huge turn. Just the way it's managed, when it went from the CFP, the BCS to the CFP, and now where we are today. Basketball's no different. The difference is basketball's championships are run by the NCAA. They do an unbelievable job. And so there is that component that we have to figure out. And it's not just men's basketball. How does the women's basketball play into this? I'm a big proponent of women's sports and making sure that we're competitive in all those, but understanding football and basketball financially are the ones that drive a lot of what happens. So not against it, not fully supporting it either. I think there's still a lot of devils in the details, and I think that's part of more than anything else. If it starts going down that path, what does that really mean, and what does it mean for all the other sports?
Eddie, can you kind of take us through the process with the football schedule, the Thursday game to start, and then recently the change from the Oregon State Saturday to Friday?
Yeah, so a lot of different pieces. I think it feels like everybody's looking and saying we're just trying to get as many games on a Thursday or Friday and not play on a Saturday. It's not about that. But there is a lot of nuances that have played into this one. I would start off by the first one, our first game of the year. Part of it is Labor Day weekend. Is that correct? Or Labor Day weekend, I apologize. Going into that weekend, knowing that when we look at our fan base, past history, when those games were during those times, challenging on a Saturday because most people are already going on vacation or doing something, so they're not here. Friday makes it a little bit for us because, again, what we're trying to do, what other conflicts are in place. So we looked at how to maximize it. Is it traditionally what we'd like to do is move to a game to a day that's not traditional for us? No. But we wanted to try to maximize it, do something different, allow people to get out of town if they choose to get out of town after our game. We'll be one of the only games, again, available, so we can hopefully maximize the exposure. Those kind of things we took into account. Oregon State situation is another one similar. They reached out to us, asked us if we'd be willing to move. We looked at our schedule, looked at the games before, the games behind. It actually is in favor. It favors us to be able to give ourselves another day. But to do that, any cost that was associated with it, I need to know that was being covered. This was a request by ESPN on their side. This is their game. They have the ability. We talked to ESPN, we talked to them, and we said as long as, and if we incur any additional costs because of hotel nights or this or that we would be taken care of, and that was agreed upon, and so we moved forward. So really, again, everything was nuances and what made it possible. Colorado, that was the other one I believe that we moved.
And UCF.
And UCF, yeah, UCF, again, that was at their place, so we had to adjust based on what they were trying to do. But the Colorado, that was an opportunity for us to be on a big network, and so we looked at it and said, why not? We can be and have all eyes on us. That was a conference request, and we supported it.
So the headline's not AD hates
No.
Saturday games.
Like I said, I am not trying to move every game to a Thursday just because I want a weekend. That's not it at all. It's really, it is unusual to have this many requests come in different directions. A lot of people expect us to do really well, and that's a testament to Willie and what he's building and the recruiting staff and the recruits that he's bringing in and the transfers. But no, this isn't me. For me, if it's traditional, it would be great, but I want to make sure that we get the most eyes we can on our team. So thank you for asking that.
Any other questions? No.
Anything else, you're welcome to ask. All right.
Any update on Kelvin's contract situation?
Yes, we're still working on it. No, it's honestly, you guys all know Coach Sampson. And one of the things I didn't want to do, he and I had a conversation, some point during the year. And the last thing I wanted to do was bother him with this conversation. So his agent and I have been having active conversations about this probably since February, I would tell you. We're very close. And I would tell you, Coach wants to, this is not about if he wants to be here. We all know he wants to be here, and I want him to be our coach, and I want to be our coach as long as he wants to be here. So this is really, right now, going through the minutia of the contract, just kind of making sure all the dots, all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed and everything else before we can get to the finish line. So I hope to have something for everybody in this room here very soon. That's how confident we are because of what Coach has built here and what I've learned is, what everybody else has seen. I've got to enjoy it this year firsthand, and so I'm excited. I'm excited for what it holds for us in the future.
Do you have some of his assistants and players have said he seems even more energized now after that sort of run. Do you have a sense that he wants to stay here longer?
Listen, I'll keep him as long as he wants to be here. What he has done for this program, this university, for this community is, it's unmatched. And when you think about the last 5 years, the winningest program in college basketball, that's a testament to the program that he has developed, he's established here, and he's always had energy. I think one thing everybody here realizes his energy is focused a little differently during the year because he's focused on the season and those student athletes and getting them better. Right now, he's looking at the complete program. He's looking at recruit. He's looking at next year. He's always had a pep in his step, and so I think right now, yeah, he's energized. And with the team he has coming back, the guys that are returning, there is some excitement, and I've enjoyed seeing it. But I don't know if it's any different. And he'll have to answer that. I know from my sense, he's got the same juice and energy that I had the first day I met him, and so I'm excited to keep working alongside him.
Eddie, this sort of plays into the house settlement stuff, but also crosses and I can't tell which is which, but with basketball, given what he's brought in and the numbers, you've seen some of the projections out there. I think CBS Sports said there could be up to 12 programs that could be 10 million or more.
Yeah.
How does that kind of affect, or what you guys do, or what you want to do to field a competitive product?
I don't get worried about what others are doing. I do what we need to do, and I listen to Coach. He knows his team better than anybody else. When it came to retaining players and all that stuff, we're not going out there. These kids want to be a part of this culture. There's a reason why they want to stay, And so others are having to do things to bring in kids and change culture, maybe change a program or try to keep themselves in a position to compete. We're very fortunate in a lot of ways. Sure, are those numbers accurate? I don't know. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend and try to figure out if somebody's paying X amount more. The one thing that I'm hopeful for is in the future, with rev share and everything else, if this goes the way hopefully everybody intends it to go, those guardrails will allow us to be more aligned. And I think right now there is a lot of front loading and other things that are happening that you're reading about, and we're reading about them as well. So I can tell you from our perspective, it's great to be at a program where the coach has not just built something that's sustainable, but has some unbelievable student athletes that want to remain here, want to be a part of this program. So I can tell you those numbers are very inflated in a lot of places. We're fortunate to be at the University of Houston with the coach we got.